I still remember the exact moment I knew it was over. Not the moment I said it out loud, that came later, but the moment I knew. We were sitting on opposite ends of our gray sectional couch, the one we'd spent 3 weekends picking out at 4 different furniture stores because we couldn't agree on anything. He was scrolling through his phone. I was staring at the TV, not really watching. And I thought, we're roommates. 8 years, nearly a decade of my life. And somewhere along the way, without either of us noticing, we'd stopped being us. His name was Daniel. We met when I was 23, fresh out of college, and working my first real job at a marketing agency in Chicago. He was 25, confident in that easy way some people are, like the world had always made sense to him. I was drawn to that. I was anxious, overthinking everything, and he was steady. Our first date was at a Thai restaurant in Wicker Park. He ordered for both of us without asking, which should have annoyed me, but instead I found it charming. He seemed like someone who knew what he wanted. I didn't know what I wanted yet, so I let him lead. We fell in love the way you do in your early 20s, fast and all-consuming. Within 6 months, we'd said, "I love you." Within a year, we moved in together. By year 3, we were talking about marriage like it was inevitable, just a matter of timing. Everyone said we were perfect together. My mom adored him. His parents treated me like I was already family. Our friends called us goals. And for a long time, I believed it too. But here's the thing about 8 years. It's long enough to build a whole life together, and it's long enough to lose yourself completely. I can't pinpoint when it started to shift. Maybe it was year 5 when I got promoted and suddenly my job demanded more of me. Daniel didn't like that I was working late, missing dinners, bringing stress home. He'd make passive-aggressive comments like, "Must be nice to care more about work than us." Or maybe it was year 6 when he started talking seriously about buying a house in the suburbs, having kids within 2 years. I wasn't ready. I didn't know if I'd ever be ready, but I didn't say that. I just nodded and said, "Yeah, maybe soon." I was 29 by then, and I felt like I was supposed to want those things. Everyone around me was getting engaged, married, pregnant. I felt behind, so I convinced myself I wanted it too. Year 7 was when the fight started. Not big, explosive ones, just this constant low-level tension. He'd criticize the way I loaded the dishwasher. I'd snap at him for leaving his gym bag in the hallway. We stopped having sex as often. Then we stopped having sex at all. I told myself it was normal. Relationships evolve. Passion fades. This is what commitment looks like. But deep down, I knew. I was lying to myself. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night in October. We were supposed to go to his coworker's birthday party. I'd had a brutal day at work. A campaign I'd been leading for months fell through. My boss blamed me, and I'd spent the afternoon fighting back tears in a bathroom stall. All I wanted was to go home, put on sweatpants, and decompress. But Daniel insisted we go. "You always do this," he said. "You bail on plans last minute. It's embarrassing." I went. I smiled. I made small talk with people I barely knew. And the whole time, I felt like I was suffocating. On the drive home, he was in a good mood, talking about his coworker's new promotion, laughing about something someone said. I was silent, staring out the window. "You okay?" he asked, but it was perfunctory. He didn't really want to know. "I'm fine," I said. And that's when it hit me. I'd been saying I'm fine for years, and I wasn't fine. I was miserable. I didn't break up with him that night. I didn't even bring it up. Instead, I did what I'd been doing for years. I pushed it down. I told myself I was overreacting, that I was just stressed, that things would get better. But they didn't. The next few weeks were torture. I started noticing everything. The way he chewed, the way he interrupted me when I was talking, the way he never asked about my day unless I asked about his first. The way he assumed I'd always be there, like I was a piece of furniture. I felt trapped, but I also felt guilty because Daniel wasn't a bad guy. He didn't cheat, he didn't yell, he wasn't abusive. He was just there. And that almost made it worse because I didn't have a clear reason to leave. Just this gnawing feeling that I was wasting my life. I started seeing a therapist. Her name was Dr. Patel, and she had this calm, no-nonsense way about her that made me feel safe. In our third session, she asked me a question that broke me open. If you knew Daniel would be okay, if you knew he'd move on and be happy, would you still stay? I opened my mouth to say yes, but I couldn't. The truth was, I was staying because I was scared. Scared of hurting him, scared of being alone, scared of starting over at 31, scared of admitting that I'd spent 8 years with the wrong person. Dr. Patel leaned forward. You're allowed to leave even if there's no villain in the story. I cried for an hour after that session. I broke up with Daniel on a Sunday morning in November. We were having coffee in the kitchen, the same routine we'd had for years. He was reading something on his iPad. I was staring at my mug, heart pounding. I need to talk to you, I said. He looked up annoyed. Can it wait? I'm in the middle of an article. No, I said. It can't. Something in my voice made him put the iPad down. I don't remember exactly what I said. I remember my hand shaking. I remember the look on his face. Confusion, then anger, then something like betrayal. Are you serious right now? He said. After 8 years, you're just done? I'm not happy, I said. And I don't think you are either. He argued. He cried. He asked if there was someone else, which there wasn't. He asked if we could try therapy, which I said no. I had already made my mind. He called me selfish. He said I was throwing away everything we built. And maybe he was right. Maybe I was selfish. But I also knew that staying would have been worse. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I moved into a tiny one-bedroom apartment in Logan Square. It was expensive and kind of depressing, but it was mine. I slept on an air mattress for 3 weeks because I didn't have furniture. I cried a lot. I questioned everything. Some of our mutual friends took his side. A few stopped talking to me altogether. My mom didn't understand. He was such a good man, she kept saying. Like that was reason enough to stay. But slowly, something started to shift. I started doing things I hadn't done in years. I took a pottery class. I went to concerts alone. I stayed out late with coworkers and didn't feel guilty. I traveled to Portland for a weekend just because I wanted to. I remembered who I was before Daniel, and I started to figure out who I wanted to be after him. It's been 2 years now. I'm 33, I'm single, I'm still figuring things out. I don't have some perfect ending where I met someone new and everything fell into place. Real life doesn't work like that. But I will say this. I'm happy. Not in that Instagram filtered highlight reel way, but in the quiet, steady way that comes from knowing you made the right choice, even when it was the hardest one. I ran into Daniel a few months ago at a coffee shop in Lincoln Park. It was awkward at first, but we talked for a few minutes. He's seeing someone new. He seems good. And I'm glad. Because the truth is, we both deserved more than what we were giving each other. If you're reading this and you're in a relationship that feels more like a habit than a choice, I want you to know it's okay to leave, even if there's no clear reason. It's okay to choose yourself, even if it disappoints people. It's okay to admit that something isn't working after years of trying. You don't need permission. But if you do, here it is. 8 years is a long time, but it's not your whole life. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from something good because you know it's not right. We were together 8 years, and then we weren't. And that's okay.